Set a clear cutoff time for work. Meet John, a 25-year-old graphic designer who didn't have clear boundaries between work and rest. Even after dinner, he'd still be checking emails or just finishing something real quick, convincing himself it would only take 5 minutes. But it never did. One task led to another, and before he knew it, his entire evening had slipped away. Even when he closed his laptop, his mind was still stuck in work mode. Then John did something simple but powerful. He set a clear cutoff time for work. At 6:30 p.m., everything stopped. No messages, no tasks, no last-minute edits, just a hard stop. That small decision changed everything. His brain finally got the signal to switch off. He started enjoying his evenings again. And ironically, by resting better at night, John became sharper and more focused during the day. Because when the brain knows it'll get downtime, it performs better when it's on. Create a simple evening routine. Once John started ending work at a set time, he suddenly had all this free time in the evening, but he didn't always know what to do with it. Some nights he'd just end up scrolling on his phone or pacing around trying to decide how to spend the time. So he kept it simple. He made himself a little evening routine. Nothing fancy, just a few things that helped him wind down. Some light stretching, reading a chapter or two, maybe setting out clothes or writing a quick plan for the next day. And the best part? He didn't have to think about it. The routine was already there, ready to go. It became his signal that the day was done and it was time to relax. That small bit of structure made his nights feel calmer and more intentional, like he was ending the day on his own terms. Start planning evenings in the morning. Each morning, John writes down one simple thing he wants to do that evening. Something like call a friend, go for a walk, or finish that book. Just one small intention. But that tiny act shifts everything. Suddenly, he has direction. His evening has a purpose. Without feeling like a to-do list, he's not over-planning, just giving his brain something to look forward to. And when work gets hectic or stressful, that little note reminds him the day isn't just about tasks and deadlines, it's also about living. Slowly, his evenings begin to feel fuller, calmer, more his, all from one small plan made in the morning. Put the phone in another room. One night, John left his phone charging in the kitchen instead of keeping it by his side, and that one decision changed everything. Without the constant temptation to check notifications or scroll aimlessly, time felt different, slower, quieter, better. He stopped reaching for his phone out of habit and started noticing what was around him. He actually finished books, enjoyed his meals, and had real conversations without glancing at a screen every few minutes. It wasn't about being super disciplined. It was just about removing the option. Out of sight, out of mind. And once he saw how much more relaxed and present he felt, it became part of his routine. Make time for micro joys. John started setting aside just 20 minutes each evening for something that made him feel good. No pressure, no productivity, just joy. Sometimes it was cooking his favorite meal. Other times it was doodling, flipping through an old photo album, or writing in a journal. These weren't big, life-changing activities, but they made a big difference. They reminded him that the evening didn't have to be about recovering from the day. It could be something he actually looked forward to. And slowly, the night stopped feeling like leftover time. It became something worth protecting. Stop saying too tired. Most people get home after a long day, feel mentally drained, and sink into the couch. A bit of scrolling, maybe a show, and suddenly the evening disappears. It feels like recovery, but it rarely helps. John doesn't do that anymore. Instead of assuming he's too tired to do anything, he gives something else a try. A quiet walk, 10 minutes of sketching, sitting outside with a cup of tea, and every time it helps. These small choices don't wear him out. They actually bring him back to life. He's learned that feeling mentally tired doesn't always mean doing nothing. Sometimes, the right kind of activity gives him more energy than rest ever could. Now, he doesn't wait for motivation. He picks something gentle, something he enjoys, and just starts. That shift has turned his evenings from passive to peaceful. Set a weekly screen-free night. Once a week, John chooses one evening with no screens at all. No TV, no YouTube, no endless scrolling. At first, it felt a little strange. The quiet was unfamiliar. But by the second or third time, something shifted. His mind felt clearer. Time slowed down. He started noticing things, like how calming silence can be or how good it feels to just sit and think. Sometimes he reads, sometimes he writes, and sometimes he just lets the evening unfold without any background noise. That one screen-free night gives his brain room to breathe. It's a reset, a way to step out of the constant noise and actually feel the evening. Now it's his favorite night of the week. No distractions, just space. Say no to last-minute plans that feel draining. Many people have a hard time saying no. There's this quiet pressure to be available, to say yes even when the body is tired and the mind just wants a break. John used to do the same. He'd agree to last-minute plans, show up half-heartedly, and come home feeling even more exhausted. Now he does things differently. Instead of reacting out of guilt or habit, he checks in with how he actually feels. If the plan feels draining, he politely turns it down. No long explanations, just a simple no when he needs it. And what happened? He started protecting his peace. His evenings became calmer, more restful, and more aligned with what he really needed, not what others expected. Saying no stopped feeling like rejection. It started feeling like freedom. Tracks what actually gives energy. After a few weeks of making changes to his evenings, John got curious. He wanted to know what was actually helping and what wasn't. So he tried something simple. After each activity, he paused and asked himself, "Do I feel better right now? More relaxed? More alive?" If the answer was yes, he made a quick note. A short walk? Felt great. Journaling? Super calming. Calling a friend? Definitely worth it. But half an hour of scrolling through social media left him feeling drained every time. That's when a pattern started to show up. The things that took a little effort, like stepping outside or doing something creative, always gave him something back. The things that felt easy in the moment, like grabbing his phone, usually made the evening feel emptier. There's science behind this too. Dr. Laurie Santos, a psychology professor at Yale, explains that we're often terrible at predicting what will make us happy.
We went through things like getting lots of money, buying awesome stuff, getting perfect grades, and even the way we spend our leisure time is not making us as happy as we think.
That one idea really stuck with John. So now when his evening starts, he doesn't just fall into the usual routine. He actually thinks about what will make him feel good, not just in the moment, but afterward too. And because of that, his nights feel lighter, less rushed, more like his own time again. Evenings are 1/3 of the day. At some point, John realized something most people miss. The time between getting home and going to bed made up 1/3 of his day, yet he treated it like junk time. Scrolling, snacking, watching random shows until it was suddenly bedtime. That hit hard. If he kept drifting like that, he'd lose years without noticing. So he made small changes. Not to be productive, just to feel awake in those hours. Slower dinners, a quiet walk, a bit of journaling. Not every night was great, but more often than not, it felt like his time again. Because once you see how much of your life you're giving away, you start wanting it back.